Nice to hear the drums. Morena Fana, how we doing? Good. Good to hear. While I'm getting set up, we've been doing a lot of social media stuff just to try and promote Christmas. I know not everyone has access maybe to, like, if you're like me, I don't really spend a lot of time on Facebook or Instagram. So I've asked Zach to play the highlights from the Christmas party last week. Now this is the unedited version with some bloopers in it as well. Mainly from one person in particular, but you'll see as it goes on.
What's your favourite thing about Christmas, Andrew?
Oh, favourite thing about Christmas, I enjoy the Christmas Eve service.
What's your favourite thing about Christmas, Ray?
Meeting friends.
Favourite thing about Christmas is the joy that it brings to families.
Oh, relaxing, getting out of bed real late.
And I enjoy family on Christmas Day, coming round and doing things.
Going to bed late.
And I think that, well, knowing that Jesus was born and he came, I'm not ready for this.
One word.
Family.
My favourite thing about Christmas.
Family.
Sausages.
Anyway, this is Granddad. Yeah, I know. And I was telling them, you have to talk into the mic. Talk into the mic. Hello, Mike. No, it's the microphone. I know. Is it going? Yes, it's going.
Christmas. Santa Claus.
Just 2 words.
Food.
Family.
Family.
Jesus, his birthday. Can't do it in one word.
One word.
That's it. Just one.
Jesus. That was one word.
And then Uncle Rolly would open up the bottle of sparkling grape juice. Yep. Go on. Open it. Right. Oh, sorry. So there's the bottle. Open it up. Then we pour it out. Okay. We forgot to put a cup underneath. Oh, sorry. Too late now. No, I'm pretending.
Oh, it's Jesus.
Presents.
Family.
Jesus. Family.
Christmas Eve service. No, that's lots of words.
Jesus. Spending time with family. One word. Family. Say it again, Stella.
Jesus. Jesus.
Family.
And family. But the best thing is meeting Christ, which I met him when I was 10 years old, and I remember Christmas.
Cheers, mate. Christmas.
And that was for everyone. He came for us all. Because you see, we didn't have a friendship with God. It was kind of broken, a bit like sometimes when you get annoyed with a friend or something and that friendship is sort of broken a bit. And we wanted it restored, and so that's what happened. And the shepherds went and they looked and they thought, wow, this is Jesus. This is God's Son here on earth for us. The King of Kings, Jesus, has been born. The very first Christmas. And they were so excited. Wow, what a blessing.
So we had an awesome time last Saturday, and thanks to everyone who was involved in organising that, and thanks to Ray, I know he watches, so it was great to have you here, brother. Today the theme is about shepherds, and we've got this tagline, stop, did you see that? I wonder if you've ever been when you've been on a car journey or a road trip and you turn a corner, and suddenly you see before you this amazing scenery, this amazing vista, and it's like you have to stop the car and take a picture, and then you want to tell people about it. We went to Maui earlier this year, went to Hawaii for a holiday, and we did a day trip on what's called the Road to Hana, and Hana is in the north coast of Maui, so it's the windward side, so as the wind comes off the sea, it builds a lot of moisture, so you've got rainforests, you've got waterfalls, you've got 690 turns on that road, and it's very narrow at times, so we did a tour, and it was fantastic. And just by there is at the start of the road to Hana, there's a surf break. It's called Jaws. It's one of the most famous surf breaks in the world. It's called Jaws because at its peak, it's between 60 and 120 feet. The face of the wave can be. Amazingly enough, no one's ever died surfing Jaws, simply because they know it's so dangerous, and so they take a lot of care. And then we went, on the same day, we went to the Maui Concert Centre, and we went to a concert by James Taylor, who's one of my favourite artists from back in the 60s and 70s. And as we were sitting there, we could hear some people behind us talking. And they were talking about a holiday they'd had. And they'd been to this place, and it was an amazingly beautiful place that they'd been to. It had a beautiful harbour. And one of the great things about it is you didn't have to tip there. And they did great coffees there. And I kid you not, they were talking about how great Wellington is. And we turned around and said, we're from Wellington. And so we had this conversation every time. I said, well, where are you guys from? Oh, we live just at the start of the road to Hana. I'm like, but what? You think Wellington's great, but you live here? And they said, oh yeah, but we're used to that. And we get used to seeing these things every day. We forget about the beauty that we live in. We forget about the surroundings, forget about everything else. Another instance came, one of my visitors from Australia was with me for work. We had been visiting a customer in Petone. We were driving back there. He's from Sydney. And Sydney Harbour is spectacular. But we're driving along the Hutt motorway. And he's going, wow. This is beautiful. And it was a sunny day, and you know you can't beat Wellington on a good day, but what didn't hurt as well as we're driving along, and I've never seen it before or since, as we're driving along, orcas came up beside the car. So it's, oh yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah. But we forget so easily. We see the same thing every day, and after a while, the awesomeness and the wonder of the scenery that we see before us, it just disappears into the background. And I wonder if we have the same challenge when we encounter Scripture, when we encounter the story of Jesus, in particular when we encounter the Christmas story, because we retell it over and over again every year. And sometimes the magic and the wonder and the amazingness of this story that we're hearing, the amazingness of Jesus, we just stop seeing it. So I'm going to take a look at this passage, and we're going to have a look at it in a little bit more detail, not verse by verse, but just to unpack a little bit more about what's happening, because we forget not just how amazing and how wondrous this story is, it's also really, really strange, isn't it? It's really odd. It's really bizarre. If anyone else told you this story, you'd go, come on. And yet it's true, and it happened. And we need to be captured by that. Again, that's part of what Christmas is about, but it's also part of what coming here every Sunday is about. You know, I stand here, what I really want to try and do is make you see Jesus a little bit more clearly and a little bit more closely. The worship leaders, that's what they want to do. It's what the music team wants to do. It's what everyone wants to do. Come out of here going, wow, Jesus is amazing. This story is amazing. The extraordinary becomes ordinary when you see or hear it often enough. And so we're going to have a look. So we have this first passage. In the same region, there was some shepherds staying out in the fields and keeping watch over their flock by night. And an angel of the Lord suddenly stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terribly frightened. The shepherds, they're the first to hear the good news about Jesus. They're lowly, they're smelly, they're typically away from other people. They're potentially considered unclean, although that's not entirely clear if we read through extra biblical texts and things, but certainly they were humble in origin. But let's not forget, in the Bible, the greatest king of Israel was a shepherd. Jesus calls himself the Good Shepherd. But that the angel appears to shepherds first shows again the kind of topsy-turvy nature of God's kingdom. the upside downness of God's kingdom. There's no herald to the powerful and mighty telling them what has just happened. No, they come to the shepherds. The angel. What do you think about angels? I hate to tell you this. They don't have any wings. At least nothing in the Bible suggests that angels have wings. Cherubim and seraphim, which are other created creatures that live before God's throne, they have wings, but the angels are messengers of God. And we can see that in Genesis 18 when the three men come to talk to Abraham, and one of them is the angel of the Lord, which is potentially, a manifestation of the second person of the Trinity, Jesus, before he became human. He appears before them, and these other two guys, there's nothing about them looking like they've got wings. I think Abraham would have noticed. I think they would have written it down. And then in Hebrews 13, of course, we read, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by this some have entertained angels without knowing it." Again, the wings would have been a giveaway. But these guys are messengers of God. They stand in the presence of God and they come to convey messages. So we've seen an angel appear to Joseph in a dream. We've seen an angel appear to Mary, and both of them are conveying information about God's plans, about what God is going to do in the world. And the glory of the Lord shone around them. The glory of the Lord, the shining kind of thing. There's a word in Hebrew called the Shekinah glory of God. This is the visible manifestation of God's holiness. It actually shines. And we know that when Moses in Exodus chapter 34 stands before the presence of God and then comes down, they're all afraid of him because his face is shining, just standing in the presence of God. He's absorbed some of that amazing holiness and it's shining out from him. And then in Matthew 17, we see Jesus and his transfiguration. He's transformed. His face shone like the sun and his clothes became white as light. So again, we've got this. And this would be scary. This would be really, really terrifying. Coming face to face with an angel can be an awesome and incredibly frightening thing. In Revelation 22, John, he bows down to the angel. He's never seen anything like this before. This must be a God, and he bows down to worship him and glorify him. And the angel said, "Nah, not me. I'm just like you. I'm a created being. You worship God and God alone." But weird, right? And he just appears. We get this suddenly. I love the way that Luke does some of this writing. It's really, he gets this urgency and this suddenly, this angel appeared before them. This angel stood before them, not flying. But maybe he was hovering in the air. They probably can do that. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy, which will be for all the people. For today, in the city of David, there has been born for you a Saviour, who is Christ the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good news. Good news, the word in Greek, evangelion, used elsewhere in the New Testament, sometimes translated as good news, sometimes translated as gospel. The gospel, the good news. The gospel of Jesus Christ starts here in this manger. It won't reach its fulfillment until he has done everything that he has planned to do, but it starts here. Without the manger, there is no good news further on in the story. Without God becoming man, there is no hope for mankind. And it's for all the people. It's not just for the powerful.